So what if you could use the very same forces that build these billion-dollar companies to create massive positive change in the world? Well, that's the core idea behind the book Bold by Peter Diamandis and Steven Kotler. And in this explainer, we're going to break down their blueprint.
I mean, really think about it. You look at someone like Elon Musk. In just over a decade, he built this $30 billion empire with companies like SpaceX and Tesla, and in the process, he completely turned entire industries on their heads. So the question is, how is that even possible?
The answer isn't just about working hard or getting some lucky break. It's about tapping into this incredibly powerful underlying force that is fundamentally reshaping our world. And that force is exponential technology. This is the secret ingredient, really, that lets today's entrepreneurs do things that were once completely unimaginable.
And that brings us to our first big idea. We're not just in a new age of tech. We're living in the exponential age, and you've got to understand what that means.
So what in the world is an exponential technology? Well, it's not just tech that gets a little bit better every year. That's just slow, steady, linear growth. No, we are talking about technology that literally doubles in its power or performance for the same cost over and over again. And that kind of doubling creates this explosive, compounding growth that changes everything.
To make this real, just think about this for a second. Back in the 1970s, a supercomputer cost millions of dollars, and it filled an entire room. The smartphone that's sitting in your pocket right now, it's about 1,000 times more powerful, and it costs a millionth of the price. That is the absolutely mind-bending power of exponential growth, and it's already in our hands.
Okay, so this explosive growth, it's not random. It actually follows a very predictable pattern that Diamandis and Kotler call the 6 Ds of disruption. And once you see this pattern, you can start to see where the next big changes are going to come from.
So here they are: digitalization, deception, disruption, demonetization, dematerialization, and finally, democratization. Think of this as the life cycle. It's how a technology goes from being some quirky little idea to becoming a force that changes the entire world. Let's really zoom in on one of the most important and most misunderstood parts of this whole journey.
It's this one right here, the deceptive phase. This is where most people and most companies get it totally wrong. See, in the beginning, exponential growth just looks tiny. The very first digital camera was only 0.01 megapixels. So when it doubles to 0.02, then 0.04, nobody cares. Nobody's impressed. It's so easy to just dismiss it as a toy. But that tiny little doubling is the quiet start of an absolute explosion. And then, bam, disruption hits. Kodak, the absolute giant of film, they actually invented the first digital camera, but they dismissed it because they were stuck in their old way of thinking. But once that deceptive growth hit a tipping point, the entire film industry was just wiped out. First by digital cameras, and then, of course, by the smartphone.
Okay, so we get the landscape now, but how do you actually operate in this world? It takes a completely new mindset, which the authors boiled down into a set of principles they call Peter's Laws.
This is one of Peter Diamandis' core principles, and it really flips everything we've been taught on its head. Instead of being afraid of failure, you run towards it. You embrace it. But the key is that last word, forward. You have to fail forward. This isn't about failing randomly. It's about learning something and moving ahead with every single mistake. So what does this look like in the real world? Well, think about Google. They don't spend years and years perfecting a product in some secret lab. Nope, they launch a basic version, get it out to real people, and then they use that feedback to improve and iterate at lightning speed. In this world, failure isn't a setback. It's just data. It's how you learn.
Now, this isn't all just about having the right mindset. The exponential age has also given us this incredibly powerful new toolkit that allows small teams or even just one person to have a massive global impact.
Let's just focus on 2 of these game-changing tools. First, you've got crowdsourcing. With the click of a button, you can tap into a global network of talent for any task you can possibly imagine. And then there's crowdfunding. You can raise money not from a few big-shot investors, but directly from the people who will become your future customers.
So, just how powerful is this crowdfunding thing? Well, Peter Diamandis' own company, Planetary Resources, had an idea that sounds straight out of science fiction. They wanted to mine asteroids. For their very first project, a space telescope, they went to the crowd, and they raised $1.5 million in just 34 days.
So how'd they do it? Well, their secret wasn't just asking for money. It was about building a community. They made this really abstract, far-off project personal and fun
by offering space selfies. Supporters could upload a photo of themselves, and the telescope would literally snap a picture of it on a screen with planet Earth floating there in the background. It was absolutely brilliant. It was fundraising, marketing, and market testing all rolled into one.
So, let's wrap this up. We've seen the exponential forces that are changing everything. We've seen the mindset you need to thrive, and we've seen the powerful new tools that are available to pretty much everyone. For the first time in history, the ability to make a truly global impact isn't just for governments or giant corporations anymore. It's in your hands. So the only real question left is the one you see right here. What bold future will you create?